people only. What's up, Richie Ryo? Good to have you, brother. Like they say, people only go to places where they find value at, man. So, this community's real small right now, but we just gonna grow. So we don't worry about numbers or none of that. We just gonna grow. That's all that matters. So this is the book we started with, Breaking Controlling Powers. So hold up. So first thing I want to say is I don't want to come off as if I know everything. So it was some stuff in the book that I didn't really understand. So, and I got no problem admitting that. So that's why, we build a community to where I could ask questions, y'all could respond and let me know what y'all think, and we all could go off each other's perspective and really, grow. So, Richie, I don't know if you read the book or you don't have it yet.
No, I don't have the book yet. I just saw the information on Instagram last night, so I thought I would just join in, but I have already ordered it from Amazon, so it should be here by Thursday.
That's a good look. All right, that's good. So if you get it on Thursday, then on Friday we gonna do chapter 3 and chapter 4. So
okay,
just catch up.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's just dive right in. Let's dive right in. Chapter 1 is talking about like what is control and like how if we abuse it, it could keep us in bondage, right? So my first question to y'all is this: what does control mean to you? Let's start with, because Patch recommended the book, let's start with him. What does control mean to you? I can't hear you, bro.
I was saying right now.
I can hear you now. This is exciting.
Why you say that?
It just is, man. Like we doing something that's positive. But to pick each other's brain and just really grow with each other, bro. Like it don't get no better than this.
Needed something good to be connected to, so this is why I pulled up, man. No lie. No lie.
They have different type of control. So when you said control, you mean like in general?
Just in general, yeah.
I feel like my definition of controlling is like people. I won't say people, but like it's like it stems with all kind of different stuff like pride, ego, what else? Manipulation.
Right.
When it comes to controlling, that's like part of the all of those factors right there play a part in it. And it's just mostly for your ego and your pride and stuff like that. Like you're trying to what's the word I'm trying to use? Like I know those 3 factors are like one of the main reasons why people do controlling stuff.
Right. Okay. Let's get what's your homegirl name again? Angelique?
Yeah, I mean
she on here. She is. Let's get her next.
Hi, Patch.
What's your definition of control? Like what does control mean to you?
Oh, you joining? I didn't know you was here. Hold up.
I tell you I was, so.
What does control mean for you?
To me?
Yes.
Let's see. I think control is a form of lack of self-confidence, just because when you want to control something, you want to be in power and you want to feel superior to someone, you want to feel superior to something. And because you want to feel superior, I feel like it has to do with lack of self-confidence, because you don't truly believe in yourself. You have to put something down in order for you to feel like you're up there, so to speak.
Okay, that's a beautiful answer. I like that. I liked it a
Thank you.
lot. What's up, Trey? Your turn. Go for it. Trey, you there?
Okay,
Oh,
you
there
hear me?
you
Yeah.
go.
Okay, so when I think about control, I was just thinking about it right now. I say control basically is it's being forceful and not having the trust. Like say, like I want to control you. I'm not having the trust in you that you're going to be able to have the type of income the outcome that I want you to have. Is basically limiting yourself and just seeing it. It's almost a selfish sense to have control over somebody because you're not letting them have that free will. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's releasing the free will from other people. You're controlling because it's one-sided view. It's a somewhat of a selfish act.
So you said that, hold on, repeat it one more time, because there's another question I want to ask you real quick. You said,
I said it's like it's just a selfish act because when you're controlling, you're only seeing your outcome. And if you're
right,
dealing with another person, you're putting your outcome on them and you're not allowing them to move in a way that they want to because it's only your view. So in that way, to be controlling, you have to be selfish.
and why would somebody want to do that though? Like, why would somebody even want to do that to somebody else? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like why?
Well,
Like,
it's fear.
fear
You
of
know what I mean?
what?
I guess fear of not knowing that it's not going to come out their way. People want it only their way, so that's why they control people. The
Mm,
fear of not having it come out. It's a comfortability, I guess. Like you're comfortable when you trust it. I mean, when you're forceful, because it's only going to be the way you know it's going to be. But then that comes with abuse, and I mean, I guess it gets kind of crazy.
right.
But I could be wrong. That's the way I see it. You know?
No, honestly, I don't think it's not right or wrong answer. Like I said, this is how we see it. You know what I'm saying? This is our own
Yeah.
perspective. So however you see this, how you see it. So it's not just my perspective. I don't think it's not right or wrong answer. That's just how you see it. So more power to you. What you got, man? Your turn, Richie Riley. What you got? What's control mean to you, man? Let's go. What you got?
Control is just basically for the results that you want. Like yeah, you can manipulate yourself to believe in something or manipulate somebody else to believe in something to get a particular result. Whatever your target is, you try to control the situation or control whoever is in the situation to get that result. So,
Right.
like the last person said, it is a selfish act, and you got to be selfish, or you got to sacrifice. You know what I mean? Sacrifice is more of a better moral stance and control, because you can have control in a positive manner, and you can have control in a negative manner.
Right.
So it's a matter of either sacrifice or just being selfish. Being selfish is, in my opinion, probably more of a negative approach to control. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
You can have control over different situations and have or try to get a result that's positive, or you can control over something or someone for a negative reason. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's
Right.
all in a matter of how you do it. It's either you being selfish or you sacrificing. One of
Either you
those
being
things.
selfish or you sacrificing.
Mm.
Makes sense. So for me, control is like when you give someone or something the power to be in charge of that emotion, that to the thing that you are tied to, right? So like let's say money, for example, right? When you give money the power to control that emotion, then I feel like that's control. So like if you don't have no
Yeah,
money, typically you feel sad, right? You know what I'm saying?
it's
So
like
you
you're
give money.
always reacting for a financial reason. That's probably one of the most controlling factors in people's lives. Like,
Right,
you think that money is gonna make you happy, and you think
right.
that
And
uh,
I don't want to get too much.
having
I don't want to get
huh?
too much in money, because in chapter 11 they talk about control by money. So I don't want to get too deep into
No,
that.
no,
Get
like I
there.
don't want to get too deep in it either, but like one of the
Right,
most controlling things is money, because like or the control you give money over you, I should say. You know what I
right,
mean? Because you can give money control over you, and then money is just handling you. You think you're making money, but that shit's just
right,
making you. You know what I
right, 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 right. That makes sense.
mean? So it's just a matter of how you maneuver in that in
Right.
that sense. You know, but money, a lot of people react immorally, negatively, out of their own self to gain a dollar
Right.
or, you know, to pay a bill or, you know, it's a whole bunch of factors that go along with that
Mm-hmm.
money control situation. It's a lot, but that's one of the most, if I think about it on a broad spectrum, money control a lot of people and they don't even know it sometimes. So,
Right. I agree. So, so we are here to grow with each other and pick each other brain and, you know what I'm saying, get different perspectives. So I know you haven't read the book yet, but the other three of us have. So let me ask y'all a question, right? Was there anything in the book that stood out to you that you didn't really understand? And if it did, then, you know, y'all could speak on it real quick and then we could get each other perspective and then get clarity on it. So I don't know, Angelique, for you, and we're gonna start with chapter 1, right? For you, was there anything in chapter 1 that you didn't really understand that you could, you know what I'm saying, just let it out and you could get our perspective on it?
Um, I'm not quite sure if there was anything that I didn't understand.
Okay.
Um,
And that's
I
cool.
mean,
Go ahead.
he gave his explanation of what control is.
Right.
And he also gave like different scenarios as to why he believed that is what control is to him. So I'm not, and it was very short and very straightforward to me. So I don't think there was anything that I struggled with.
Okay. What about you, Patch?
I understand pretty much everything you were saying.
Okay, so what about you, Trey?
Yeah, I understood everything he was saying. I thought what was pretty dope that he said in chapter 1 was what is control said, each of us need to exercise self-control in order to keep ourselves free from sin. I thought that was pretty deep, but I understood everything. That just stood out to me.
Right. Okay, so for me, it was one part in chapter 1 that I didn't really understand, where he was like, people who exercise abusive control seek to become the deciding factor in lives of other people. And then he was like, such individuals replace the word of God as the balance in the lives of those whom they dominate. So I was like, I didn't really understand what he mean by that when he was like, they replace the word of God as the balance in the lives of the people who they're trying to dominate. So if y'all could help me understand it, that'd be good. You know what I'm saying? Whoever wanna give their input on it.
I haven't read the book, but
Repeat it again, DK.
Okay, he said that people who exercise abusive control seek to become the deciding factor in the lives of others. Such individuals replace the word of God as the balance in the lives of those whom they dominate.
nah, you gotta think about it like, or think of it as when you say if you associating with the wrong crowd, for example. A lot of what you would know as godly, you could probably replace that to meet their standards, not yours. You know what I
Right.
mean? So basically, you're not being manipulated by those controlling factors or whoever is the controlling factor in that circle. Because I mean, whatever circle you in, you would normally have one dominating person or one person who's, you know, kind of sort of the leader, or everybody else kind of,
Right.
move with. So in that sense, if that person is not manipulating you, then everything you know as right, you would probably try to find a reason to make it seem okay,
Right.
just so you can be
Okay.
a part of, or you know what I'm saying, get the result for that person that they want from you.
Okay. That makes sense now. That makes sense. And that's why I'm glad I'm building this community, because there's some stuff that I don't understand and I don't want to claim to know everything because I don't. So, you know what I'm saying? y'all can help me grow together too. Okay, so for chapter 1, right? What's one thing that stood out to y'all in chapter 1? Let's start with Angelique. I'm gonna keep starting with her.
Right.
What's one thing in
So,
chapter 1 that stood out to you?
so it's funny that that was the specific line that you brought up, because that's the one that stood out to me the most. Just because it gives you an insight of what you don't realize that people are doing, or that you do to people on a regular basis, which for me is, you try to control others, or you try to be the deciding factor in other people's lives. Sometimes you do it unconsciously and sometimes you do it purposely, which for me, if you try to be the deciding factor in the lives of others, if you do it unconsciously, it's like you feel like you're trying to help this person, or you feel like you're trying to do something positive, when in reality, you can't help someone that doesn't want to help themselves. And the only way that they can help themselves is through God. And so it's kind of like you're trying to replace God's purpose in their lives by deciding for them what they're supposed to do.
So how do we fix that? If it's unconscious, like how do we fix that? What do we
Well, if
do?
it's on that, I feel like through prayer and through communication, like speak to the person, because majority of the time when we're trying to help people and we do it unconsciously, it it gives them a negative feel of us.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever been controlled or if someone has ever controlled you, but if someone has ever controlled you, it's not a great feeling.
I'm pretty sure we all dealt with that in our lives before, whether we realize it or not.
Right. And I feel like it has to do with communication, like actually asking the person, or having the person speak to you and tell you exactly what they're feeling, as opposed to telling them that this is what they're supposed to do.
Right. Okay. I like that. I like that. Good input. What about you, Trey? What's one thing in chapter 1 that stood out to you?
I guess just to go back what I said, the one that it says each of us need to exercise self-control in order to keep ourselves free from sin. I thought that was pretty unique, just saying that we got to be conscious and be aware of the things we're doing in order to not, be outside of the will of God, because it could just happen, so quick and so easy. It's just being aware of the things we do,
I'm about to highlight that right now because that stood out. Now that you're saying it and you giving an explanation on it, that make a lot of sense. So I think I need to highlight that just to keep that on my mind. What about you, Patch? What's something in chapter 1 that stood out to you?
Nothing really stood out to me in chapter 1, more in chapter 2.
Okay. All right. So for me in chapter 1, right, the thing that stood out to me was the part where they was talking about communist control, right? Like how the government try to control people through fear, ignorance, poverty, and restricting their knowledge of the outside world and limited their freedom of expression or religion. Like that was deep to me because it's like, when you look at the world today, it's like, and I don't know how if y'all truly pay attention to politics or the government like that, but you don't have, I don't even think you really have to like really dig deep into the government to really know that they do really try to control us with everything, you know what I'm saying? Through fear, through ignorance, like they don't, like the school system, they don't teach us everything in schools. They try to keep us in poverty. That's why the financial gap is so big. So that was just one thing that stood out to me in chapter 1. So Yeah, so I feel like that was a good discussion as far as chapter 1 goes. And so Richie, for you, once you know you're gonna get your book on Thursday, so you will catch up and you know what I'm saying, and see what we talking about, you know, thing to
Oh,
that.
for sure,
Mm-hmm.
for sure, for sure.
So let's dive into chapter 2. So what's one thing that stood out to you in chapter 2, Patch? I'm gonna start with you just because you said that more so in chapter 2.
Oh, in chapter 2, the part where the guy explained that people that control people, it never originate in strangers.
I promise you I can
Always
say the same thing.
it's always with somebody that you know. And he gave an example about if somebody will come, a random guy will walk in the church and tell everybody, I think he said somebody walk in the church and tell everybody like get out of the church or something like that. Everybody would chase him out the church. But like if the pastor that everybody kind of have trust in would say something, they would more likely listen to him, or they wouldn't chase him out that quick. They would like kind of have the respect they have for him is like they would like consider it like, is this dude is on, you know, like is he tripping? But like they respect him, so it's like they don't know if is it God's word or maybe his word.
Right.
And I realized, I think about it now. I realized I was in some controlling relationships, or I wouldn't say relationships, I'll call it situationships with some girls back in the past. And the more I read this book, the more I realize how controlling some people are that I know. And it don't really make me look at them differently. It's just that I feel sorry for some of them because if they would read this book, they will like know more about themselves, like the stuff they're doing, like the manipulation, like the manipulating stuff they do to people and stuff like that. They probably don't even know they're doing.
All right.
And that just stood out to me, that how we never it's hard for you to even control somebody you don't know. It's always somebody that you're already probably emotionally attached to or something to that extent.
All right. So my challenge to you is, right, you know, like you said, you it's some people you know, and I'm glad you didn't call no names because out of respect for them, you know what I'm saying, just leave it where it's at. But my challenge to you is this: if you care about them, share the book with them. You know what I'm saying? Share the book with them. And that's just my best advice to you. Just share the book with them so they could see where they're going wrong and how they could become better. Just like DeAndre and James share Rich Dad Poor Dad with me because they care about me. And then when I read it, I shared it with you. And then you was like, man, this book changed my life. So you could do the same thing with this book. You know what I'm saying? It's helping you realize how you was controlling or different people was controlling. So you could share with them too and just help them become better people as well. Ultimately, that's one of the best things that we could do for people is help them become better.
That is true. That is true.
So, and then one day you never know, they could join the book club too. I hear our perspective.
Some of them bridges are burned. I don't know if I could share it, but you might have to share it for me.
I'm gonna leave that where it's at, bro. I'm gonna leave it where it's at. I hear you. Trey, what's up with you, man? What stood out to you in chapter 2?
It's funny because I got a lot of highlighted stuff, but then I just looked over this right here, and it goes back to what I said. So about selfish personality. Now that I'm just looking at it, it says because of his fear of rejection, an abusive controller has a selfish personality.
Hey, Trey, but before you continue, what page you on? Because I want to read it too. Why are you going through it?
Okay, so that's page 11, and then it is 1, 2, 3. It's like 3 paragraphs down. Well, actually, yeah, 1, 2. You see it?
Yeah. Say it again.
So it says because of his fear of rejection, an abusive controller has a selfish personality. You know, for me, this, yeah, and it's crazy because I didn't highlight that, but then just looking over this page, it goes back to where I was saying, you know, in order to be in it, have control of somebody, you have to be selfish. So that just goes back to that. And even to another sense, you know, I always say if somebody could change the way how you feel during the day, you letting that person have control over you. So you basically got to be careful, you know, how others make you feel. Not saying that you just go around with this non-caring attitude, but with me, I'll care a little bit, but I'm not going to allow what you say control my day because the day is too good. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. That's a good one. And that's crazy because a lot of people, I'm pretty sure we all have experienced it before to where, you know, maybe your spouse or your friend or someone say something to you or do something or someone cuts you off in the street. Now your whole mood messed up. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good answer. I like how you broke it down too. What about you, Angelique? What's something in chapter 2 that stood out to you? I hope I'm saying your
Um,
name right. Correct me if I'm wrong.
how did you say it?
Angelique?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Something that stood out was page 10, where it says characteristics of abusive controller. And it says that an abusive controller is insecure, although such a person may appear to handle everything with ease and confidence. Inside, he's scared, intimidated, and unfulfilled. So I feel like majority of the time when we actually realize that we're being controlled by someone, we tend to drift away from that person, or we tend to start hating that person. And I feel like this gives us an insight on how that person is and why it is that we're supposed to help that person as opposed to shun them away because they're actually not healthy within themselves. Like we're not healthy because we're allowing them to control us. But when we change the spotlight and see why they are controlling, it kind of makes us sad for them, because when you read all of these definitions of who they are, it's a bit sad to me.
All right. So how do we help them in that aspect? Like, because I'm reading it myself too. Like you said, he is scared, intimidated, and unfulfilled. So how do we, like, okay, so and correct me if I'm wrong. Like you said, like, so we notice these things about them, right? How do we bring that to their attention without maybe sounding rude or sounding as if we coming off like, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, how do we bring that to their attention?
I feel like I'm such an advocate for communication because I love to communicate. And so I feel like the way that we handle these stuff are by communicating to them and kind of enlightening them on what it is that we don't like about them and why we feel like they're being the way that they are. Because like I said, sometimes people control unconsciously
Right.
and we allow it.
So let me ask you this. So, and you're gonna learn this about me that I you're gonna learn this about me that I hold up. This thing just gave me a they just gave me a message saying my time about to run out. I didn't know, but I'm gonna get to this in a second. Um, you're gonna learn this about me that I like to break things all the way down to the
Right.
simplest form. So when you say communicate with them, right? How do you do that? You just like call them on the phone and be like, "Hey, I need to talk to you," or you meet up with them in person, or like how do you communicate that with them?
Well, different people have different ways how we communicate with them. Like the way that I communicate with Patch would be different than the way that I communicate with you or with my husband or with different people. So you just have to know that person. So, like, if I want to communicate with one of my girlfriends about something that I didn't like that she did, I would take her to brunch and have a conversation with her at brunch. But if I want to communicate with my husband, I'm going to communicate in my house over dinner or something. So
Right.
it all has to do with knowing the person and knowing what they're going to be comfortable with.
Okay, that's a good answer. I like that. I like how you broke that down. And it's crazy that you touched on that topic was because that was the exact same thing I wrote down. How abusive controller is insecure. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's
Right.
actually what I was gonna say too. You took my answer, but it's all good though. It's all good. Any of y'all want to touch on anything she said as far as like how to communicate that? Like how would y'all communicate it to someone else? That's her perspective. Let me hear somebody else's perspective.
Sometimes you want to communicate things to people and you can't. So you probably have to just write it down and just take the good and the bad. Just have a piece of paper and just have good on one side, bad on one side. Whatever that controlling factor is, just write all the good things you know, all the bad. Just run a line through all the bad shit and focus on the good shit. And you communicating with the good, not the bad.
So you said sometimes you can't communicate it. So you write down all the good and you write down all the bad. And if you can't communicate the bad, you focus on the good.
Like I'm just speaking in terms of speaking to a person, like one-on-one. And some of the people that have control over you don't want to speak to you because they know they have the control over you, or they have the control over a certain aspect of you or something that need closure, but they don't want to communicate to create that closure. So you create your own form of communication because you can't talk to a wall and expect for the wall to talk back.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's basically what that person or that thing or whatever that controlling factor is becomes at that moment. They become that wall. So then you just got to find the good and the bad in that wall and kick the bad to the side and focus on the good.
So how do you, so if the bad things is the stuff that's holding that person back, right? If you don't talk about it, then how would they know?
Well, the thing about it is, if they don't want to communicate, then that doesn't mean you can't communicate within your own self. You know what I mean? Some people just don't want to communicate. And that, I mean, for different reasons. Whatever reason it is, they don't feel secure in creating that bridge to form that communication with you for whatever reason. Remember, it's and how I'm looking at it is it would be an issue that you would have, not they would have. So they really don't see it as a problem or see it as something that they need to do because that's your problem. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And they could probably see that you bringing your problem to them. I ain't worried about that. That's something you got to worry about. In all actuality, they are having whatever strings attached to you and controlling whatever they want to control. So they want to keep them strings attached, and you trying to break those strings off. So okay, since they don't want to communicate, you put your wall up in front of their wall and take all the good out of that. Because at the end of the day, no matter how you look at things, in some cases, the worst things, you can probably find more good out of it because by going through it, you learn so much from it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it might seem really, really bad in that moment or seem to have total control in that moment. But if you just put the header of whatever that issue or controlling factor is, and you dig deep and find all the good and you find all the bad, I guarantee you're gonna find a whole lot more good than bad. And naturally, if you put it on a scale and you write it on a scale naturally, that scale is gonna tip one way, and you're gonna have to always lean that one way. You know what I mean? This is a process, and this, you know what I mean.
I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to use that. That's a good tip. I'm gonna use that. What about you, Patrick, Trey? Like, how would you communicate that to someone? What y'all got?
They said it all. I can't say nothing. Man broke it down so smooth. Like I got nothing to say.
Richie and Angelique said it well.
Yeah, bro said it all.
I say that, Dan. Say that. That's all good. Well, that concludes chapter. So in this book, these chapters real short. You know what I'm saying?
Really short.
They're real short, but that concludes the first meeting, man. I started this book club maybe like 2 months ago. Trey, how long ago was that? Maybe like 3 months in January?
Longer than that. Like 5 months ago.
So I did it and then I kind of stopped. I don't know why. maybe I need to find out why I stopped. Maybe I need to do some soul searching and really find out why I stopped, because I'm trying to break that of starting stuff and then stopping, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, you know, Trey, he would just message me like, hey bro, when you gonna start it again? When you gonna start it again? Patch, the same thing, like, man, start your book club again. And my wife, like, start it again. Like, so this is it, and we not stopping. We just gonna keep growing this community. You know what I'm saying? It's what, 5 of us? 1, 2,
Yeah.
5 of us right
I have
now.
I have one more person that's gonna join, but they just woke up. They know they have Angelique time. She in California, and then one is in Arizona, but they have the same time zone.
Okay.
So it's
That's
like
cool.
after 6 over there right now for them. So it's really early for them.
Right. Well,
Yes,
you know what?
6:53.
Well, look,
Yeah.
but look, Angelique.
So we have to thank Angelique for that, because who gonna get up at 6?
No, look. People make time for things that they find value in.
That is
Right.
true.
So
That
I
is true.
appreciate y'all for taking y'all time out. You know what I'm saying? And
Hey, I got Richie. I just listened to the Breakfast Club interview with Trader Truth, bro. You sound just like Trader Truth, bro. I don't know, bro.
Yeah,
Your voice,
people always tell me that.
see, I was laughing and I
People
was
always tell me
like, this dude sounds just like Trader Truth.
hey, Pat, that's Jay cousin.
For
Yeah,
real?
it's Jay.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
Jamaican Jay?
yeah.
Oh,
That's my little
all
cousin.
right.
This is how I met DK. You know what I mean?
Okay. So
Yeah.
me and Angelique
Yeah,
is from
man.
Belize. Me and Angelique is from Belize.
Okay, cool, man. Hey, listen,
Mhm.
like I said, I'm kind of a freelancer. See, DK met me a couple of years ago, and I was Richie Royal and all that. But now I'm kind of more low key and chill. You know what I mean?
Right,
Because
right.
a lot of what we're speaking about right now, I've kind of gone through that process. You know what I mean? So trust me, it's controlling this whole control. That's what really caught my attention. Man, DK doing this book club. Let's see this book he read. Oh, controlling. I said, man, I know what that's like. So I was like, let me go ahead and join this book club, because I need to be attached to something good at the moment, and this is
Right.
something really good, because I'm kind
Yeah,
of
that's
rebuilding
true.
myself as well.
Respect,
So
bro.
hey, man,
Yeah, well, this is
this
the
is
first one.
don't stop doing it this time, bro.
Nah, I'm not.
I mean, we all here, so you know, we gonna always do it.
Nah, I'm not. I'm
It
not.
should
I'm
be.
not.
Yeah, don't stop this time, bro.
I'm not.
When we
Like,
finish
Because I
this book,
mean,
when we
like
finish this book, we
now,
could read another book.
yeah, you could. I mean, you could probably put this on YouTube, man. If we
right.
can't log in one day, we can. No, real talk.
That
If
is
we
true.
can't
No,
log
you're
in
right.
one day,
You're right. You're
we
right.
can't log in one day, we can go back
Go
and watch
back.
after or something. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me,
Well,
like you creating something big here. You
I
creating something
recorded.
big.
It's recording right now, so I'm gonna definitely post it. But this thing right now is saying I have less than a minute remaining, so it's gonna cut off real soon. So thank
Oh
y'all
yeah.
for coming.
You have to pay
We
for
gonna
Zoom
catch
now.
up.
Yeah.
We
All
gonna
right.
catch
Yeah, I
up.
know. Zoom be
Appreciate y'all,
charging
man.
now, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. After
Peace
that
out, man.
pandemic, they charge you now to be on Zoom that long. Yeah.
I know. I'm gonna see y'all on Friday.
Thank you
All
for
right, brother.
having
All right,
me.
bro.
All right,
Thank
no
you,
problem.
Angelique.
Thank you, Patch.
All
All right,
right.
y'all.
All right.
Okay. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Cool.
You too. Thank you.